Hello, everyone. This is Kyle from Together Online with the Blue Yeti microphone. I know you hate to see it, but today I'm here interviewing a band that I love so much. This has been like a part of my like little music journey. I have here Clever Girl's No Drum and Bass in the Jazz Room. Yeah, it's a gold variant. Clever Girl was a band that had released a EP in 2010. They just played like 8 shows, disbanded. For the most part, most of them became dads and just like got like jobs. Throughout time, the EP kind of picked up steam after a user on YouTube uploaded it with a iconic image of like a Jurassic Park dinosaur with a Rubik's Cube. And this, I remember I was a like math rock nerd during this time, super into like Chon and everything like that. And this EP just blew up out of nowhere. I would say this was like one of my very first like YouTube algorithm picks that I've ever had. The band just like became huge. It was so fun being in this scene, like seeing this all happen post-mortem. And there is a lot of anonymity about this band. It's just a beautiful EP. If you haven't listened to it please. Like literally like every single instrument and every single part is it's crafted so masterfully, and like also the mix is crafted so masterfully. I have 2 of the members here from Clever Girl, and we're here to answer some questions.
Hey Kyle.
Hello.
Hello.
I have something to show you guys.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
Yep, I got the record. This is the gold variant of
Oh
like
nice.
That's the
that
first one, yeah.
pressing. Dude,
Yeah.
I was there since the beginning. I was annoying the label, like, hey, like when is this coming out? When is this gonna come out?
Okay. Fair play.
Yeah. I going into this, I had my questions ready, and then I pitched it to Reddit to also pitch questions as well. And literally with the swarm of questions coming in, everyone essentially asked all the questions I was gonna ask. First, I wanted to start out with the question of how did the band form?
Um okay, so from my perspective, how did the band form? So myself and Luke Hamilton, the drummer, went to school together in a town called Belper, um, about an hour away from Sheffield, where the band formed. So we were in a band called Grab Head Lift Leg. Um, yeah, I've been uncovering some old demos actually, and so one of the songs on the EP, Sleepyhead Symphony,
Mhm.
originally originated with that band. Um, and there's another unreleased song which is also from that band. And yeah, we were lucky to grow up in a really great music scene
Yeah.
in near, so Derby was our nearest city, and it's like a shitty little city. So there were some great bands that like I think at the time we didn't realize how lucky we were in terms of the music that we were being
Mhm.
exposed to, and ended up like playing with some bands that, including a band called Crash of Rhinos. Well, actually, no, sorry, 2 bands called the Jesus Years and the Little Explorer, which then members from those bands formed Crash of Rhinos. I don't know if you've heard of those guys, but they're on Top
Mhm.
Shelf Records. So they have become, they're one of the only bands actually. There's so many great, really underappreciated bands from around that time in that area that I'm really trying to big up now actually. Some of them are getting the recognition they deserved, but a lot of them, but they were all really influenced by a lot of the kind of Midwest emo scene and I guess early math rock, but not
Mhm.
kind of like, yeah, 90s math rock. I certainly remember being particularly influenced by a band, Pele. Um, yeah. Um, anyway, and then so I then met all the other guys at university in Sheffield. Duncan, we were like no, you were friends with Rosie, weren't you? My
Yeah. So
yeah.
I lived with Sam's ex-girlfriend Rosie in first year at university, and we first had I knew Sam's old band. I'd been to see them quite a few times. The Situationists,
Oh yeah,
and I
that was a different band. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
So it's a slightly different one, but no, it was when we were on a holiday together in France, and I mentioned I played the saxophone, and Sam mentioned that he wanted to do a sort of guitar band, but with the saxophone in it. That wasn't sort of
Hmm.
Skull-like, and something very different to other sort of math
Situations.
rocky type bands,
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
more melodic.
One of the questions that we have, it's actually from another band, a band called Crochet, which has been killing in the scene right now. They wanted to
What's
ask
it
where
called?
the Crochet, uh,
Crochet.
yeah, Crochet asked where did the saxophone come from? Because it's kind of an unconventional instrument in the scene.
Yeah, well, it was. I think that was Sam's genius, really, because it was. Yeah, not many of the bands do it, and yeah, I think it just adds a very melodic element to what can be often sort of quite technical
Hmm.
genre. Yeah.
Hmm.
But the reason I was really into brass was because of Do Make Say Think actually. Uh,
Yes.
the Canadian band Do Make Say Think. They're kind of part of the same scene as like Godspeed You Black Emperor in like Montreal, and
Yeah,
they've got two drummers and loads of beautiful brass parts. So not really mathy, they're more like post rock. But they remain my favorite band.
yeah,
Um, so I was really into the sax. But to my mind, there are quite a few bands like
Mm,
Colossal. Um, I remember getting into Colossal and obviously American football also have brass, don't they?
mm.
yeah.
So
True,
so
true.
to me, it didn't seem like a kind of
Okay.
groundbreaking thing at all.
Uh,
But I just love brass, yeah.
so a lot of people wanted to know, when did you guys kind of notice virality with your project? Because it kind of just like hit like the YouTube upload with like the clever girl like logo that was off of like was that like some like random like YouTube user I want to say.
The dinosaur Rubik's Cube thing.
Yeah.
I think I found that I think I did find that image somewhere, and I think I used it. I actually, you know what? I actually can't remember. I think that I used it for something. I think so. Maybe the MySpace.
Really?
And
So
it was just like it was like a t-shirt design,
yeah.
but because of the clever Jurassic Park influence, I think that's how that came about. And then someone put it up on. But you know, I might be misremembering that, and maybe just someone put it up on the YouTube. It's obviously now so associated with the band, that particular image, that
Yeah.
and the initial
Was the
YouTube video.
name coined through the like the Jurassic Park reference?
Oh yeah. The name definitely came from the Jurassic. I watched it with my daughter actually for the first time the other
Really?
day. Yeah, my
Yeah.
clever girl, and yeah, that moment, I was obsessed with dinosaurs and Jurassic Park as a kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
So
there's
when
one bass line, I think, in is it Telebuster, where it's just
yeah, yeah,
just sounds a little bit like the there's an
yeah. There's a
element
little, yeah,
of that in the bass line, one of the songs as well.
yeah. Some people have do notice that. Yeah, reference to the Jurassic Park theme in Telly Blister on the bass. Yeah,
when did you guys notice virality with the project?
virality. I haven't heard that word before. It's a good word.
Yeah,
Duncan.
when did it like when did it like blow
So
up? When did because it kind of
well, I
blew up like post-mortem, right?
yeah, so we were together for like a year at university, and then we sort of all went our different ways in 2010. And I remember when, because it was just some random guy just uploaded it to YouTube in around
Mm,
2010. I think he might have been from Japan. I'm just assuming it was
I think so. Yeah.
a guy there. Um, and I remember just like being like really chuffed and surprised when I saw it, it hit sort of like 10 or 50,000 or like 100,000 listeners, and it had this sort of, it was relatively linear, so it just
mm,
sort of grew at that pace, and it slowly racked up over the years, but then it just got an extra leg to it when we finally got around to putting it on Spotify in 2018, and then it sort of really leveled up. Just sort of went on a slightly different gradient. So I don't know how quickly we racked up those views on YouTube, but it feels like it's sort of going like 4 or 5 times as quickly now as it was then.
Really?
But the oddest moment was when I was just going through the messages on the Facebook page, and I think this would have been about sort of 2016, 2017, and I just got a message from one guy saying, "Hey man, I got your logo as a tattoo," and just like a big picture of his leg, and it was the dinosaur doing the Rubik's Cube.
So it was the T-shirt logo. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so that was when it really sort of sank in. It's like, wow, this is really reaching a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you have a moment, Sam?
Sorry?
Do you have a moment of when you like realize like, oh, your old project has become viral?
You know what? So I actually went to live in Japan for a year after that EP was recorded and we split up. And I remember like listening to the EP and being like extremely proud of it. I can't remember I actually can't remember the particular point where we noticed it was. And actually trying to understand how like whoever, maybe we can find out whoever put it on YouTube, like found like got, because we just released it for free on MySpace. But what was so like astonishing and lovely and strange about that whole process was like for me, I was in. So when I first met Duncan, I was in this band at university called Situationists, which was like a really fun band, like and like was quite successful in its time. It was kind of indie pop vibes, but it had a little bit of mathy like stuff as well going on. But like to me, I was in that band to try and be in a gigging band that was like going to be successful. That was my intention, and I was playing with a plec, which was not my natural way of playing guitar. It was like I liked the music, but like it wasn't like my favorite kind of music. And then when I like left that band and formed Clever Girl with so I started James, the other guitarist, we started like playing together. That band was purely for the love. Like there was no like expectation or remote hope that band would be a successful band. It was like, let's just make the music we want to make purely for the love of it. And then we like played a few gigs, released it for free, and like left on a high. It wasn't like, so then it's like for that music to actually touch people and to become successful without any effort or intention on our part at all in that regard was like just really, really touching and very, very relentlessly and still very strange.
Yeah, and lovely messages from people all over. Yeah. So it's just when there were quite a few messages from people in Chile for some reason.
That's
so
cool.
There's a succession of guys either writing in Spanish or writing in English as a second language, just saying just how much they really like the album, and that's just really, really touching and just utterly surreal at the same time, because like we weren't together for very long. We probably did maybe 8 gigs in total, maybe 10.
Wow. Like, how was the reception when you guys were a thing, like originally?
Kind of like fine, but people weren't really
quite complimentary.
Our friends weren't really into that music, and so they kind of didn't really know what to make of us. I think they really liked it and they celebrated us, but like we weren't in Sheffield. There wasn't really at that point a big scene for that music.
And I feel like that music kind of escalated, like almost like, I mean, I guess when Clever Girl kind of like became viral online, maybe like 5 years after.
Yeah, I mean, This Town These Guns, who we supported actually in Sheffield, they were pretty big. So there was a scene nationally. It was still relatively niche, but there was a scene of people who were really into that kind of music. But we never even graduated in that scene to like a well-known band at all. We only ever played Sheffield. We only ever played support gigs, apart from like playing in our basement, the drum and basement that the title. Actually, I just found some footage of that. Like, it was like almost our final gig. Yeah, that I'm gonna upload. It's really
that needs to be uploaded.
Yeah. This
And
feels
then
like
you said that there
a
was
house
some.
party gig. Yeah.
You said that there was some unreleased stuff too.
Yeah, there is a YouTube video with the kind of quite badly recorded demo of the original song. Our first song, which was called No Drum and Bass in the Jazz Room, that is
Mm.
up there. But we had like at least yeah, two songs that we didn't end up recording, which we are planning to, well, hopefully might be recording, and hopefully maybe even some new stuff. Maybe.
Mm.
Yeah, it's quite logistically challenging, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that EP, was it self-produced or did you guys get a producer for that?
We had a producer, yeah.
Mm.
Just this guy at the place where we practiced. Local guy in Sheffield, yeah, who's now a primary school teacher.
Oh,
But
really?
actually, he did a really great job. Yeah, a
It's
really good job.
absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. I think that's a huge reason it's been successful because like we were just like five people who'd never really done it before, and this guy just did such a good job
Yeah,
Definitely.
with recording. It just sounds fantastic. Like far better than we ever did when we were sort of playing
yeah,
it live.
we were pretty sloppy, like, and some, not sloppy, but like not as tight as that record makes us seem.
Yeah.
Do you remember their name?
But there was also some like development of some of the songs in the recording process as well. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Do you remember their name, like the recording studio?
The recording studio was called Rec and Play. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, and the guy is called Chris Walker, I think. Yeah, I'm chatting to him at the moment because I'm trying to get the stems from his old hard drive so we can get people to do remixes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
What's some people want to know, well, like for example, Big Telephone 9117, they want to know the random ba da ba 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 part in Elm. What was the reasoning behind that? Like the one piece of vocals in that EP.
What was the reasoning behind it? I think it just an idea. I mean, there was quite a lot of music in the UK at that time. The band I was in previously had this whole ba da ba ba ba
Mm,
ba ba. Like there was quite a lot of music that had like that kind of like barbershop style vocals
mm,
in, and
Mm.
so I feel like it was creatively in the mix.
mm. The
And
millennial baps. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, just like, and I feel like there's other bits of like mathy emo stuff where they're just like random bits of yelping
Mm.
or whatever.
I think we only did that on the recording as well. I can't. Did we do that live?
No,
I
no,
can't remember.
no. I feel like we definitely established it as a thing that we
Okay.
did. It's in the gig.
Okay.
Yeah, the gig
I know
footage. Yeah.
people are going to be belting that whenever the reunion comes.
They did, man. When we did the reunion in 2018, when we pressed the vinyl and played one
Yeah,
gig,
so
and people were
uh,
like singing along to the saxophone lines and all sorts. It was mental. Yeah.
tell me about that. How did that form? The like original reunion.
We're just seeing this sort of strange like growth in
Mm.
popularity. It sort of looks like going viral on Reddit every sort of six to 12 months. And so we all knew there was something sort of bubbling away. We did a few practice sessions in sort of like 2013, 2014. But again, like I moved to Brussels for work, and so that sort of fell apart. But then in 2018, it just reached sort of such. We'd been talking about trying to put it on vinyl for so many years, and then we got talking to a sort of small UK label called Barely Regal, and they said they'd be able to do it via a guy we sort of knew at Sheffield when we were at university together, and so it had just taken just sort of took that long to sort of come about through a mixture of sort of
Mm.
mild disorganization, then it sort of creates an accidental mystique.
Exactly. Accidental mistake is definitely it's
Was
definitely a strategy.
was there any like you said that there's like accidental mystique, and this album or this EP has been like very big for like a decade now. Was there any when you guys saw that like cult status? Was there any push to be like, hey, like let's get was there any push to be like anonymous at all? Or like did you guys kind of want to like keep up like the momentum, or did you guys just get kind of like caught up in life? Like what were you guys doing like while it was kind of picking up steam online.
It feels like a lot of the latter. Yeah, everyone was just doing very random, quite different things. So
Yeah,
James, the other guitarist, is sort of coffee importer. But I'm a journalist, and you know, Teach is the bassist is a doctor. Just everyone, and you know, then children started sort of coming along as well. So just like there was just a lot of sort of life events going on.
yeah,
And it's the strangest part is that the band was only together for about a year, less than a year. Um, and so yeah, that's just a lot of life sort of piled on top of that.
yeah. So there was never any conscious intention for it to be. Well, okay, so I think we kind of realized that there was mystique around it. Um, and then I guess in some ways like played into that a little bit with the cover of the record, which took, well, there's quite a process around that. Um, and but yeah, for me it was like we kind of like periodically just kind of like turned our attention towards it and like messaged each other in the WhatsApp group, being like, "Oh my God, have you seen like this comment that someone put on YouTube, or like have you seen this bit of um fan mail, or like or this tattoo or whatever, or this like
Mm.
blog that someone's written about it." Also, there was this weird thing where there's like an American math rock band called Clever Girl that people were getting us confused
I was
with,
gonna ask, yeah.
which was just there was just loads of weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Were
And
you
then
guys aware
when
of that?
yeah, but we became aware of that, and for a while we were confused on Spotify. We were like they were like listed as the same band. Um, uh, but then when yeah, so at a certain point when like so I basically do a lot of the social media, and so when I started doing the social media, I definitely did lean into the kind of so like yeah, you may have noticed on social media it's all like Clever Girl loves Clever Girl, so it's
Hmm.
like I have lent into the kind of like a bit of a kind of weird like character or something that's
Yeah.
very like very I think for me it's like meeting the joyful messaging we get back from the fans. It's like so full of love, and so
Mm.
just like responding with the same amount of just like pure positive energy, really, like um and the same with the kind of tarot card and like infused um inspired uh record cover, it's like the sun, it's just like pure love.
Mm. So what would be like your ideal future for Clever Girl?
Well, I would love to do another few gigs because like the reunion gig in 2018 was a proper sort of bucket list thing.
Mm.
Because just it was like a wonderful cheap teenage dream moment where I'd never had a gig before where people were sort of just singing along to songs that didn't even have words. And it was hundreds
Yeah.
of people. There was like one kid who flew. It was an American kid who just flown in from Budapest. We had British kids who just like got the train down from Edinburgh. So that's like a 5 hour train journey from Edinburgh to London. It's not cheap. Then this train was like delayed, so we had to like sprint across London. We were on the other side of London from that railway terminus, and this kid just made it from Edinburgh to this warehouse in South London to come and see us playing in a band 8 years after we last did our random gig. That was a wonderful moment. So I would love to do other things in front of an audience, but it's also just completely terrifying because that was like mainly a sort of friendly crowd. We knew most of the people there, and the people who sort of come to had sort of discovered us online and traveled big distances. They were sort of the minority, so it's a little bit scary to think of doing gigs in front of people who only know you as a sort of musician, because it feels
Mm.
like the sort of standards have to be higher, and so that is fundamentally quite intimidating because we did only do a few gigs, and we've all not been practicing our instruments as much as we could have done in the past few years, I imagine.
um yeah, I mean, it's a kind of like so that's yeah, so we are kind of like working on maybe reforming in some
Mm.
way. We'd love to play, we know we yeah, so when we played this one gig in London, we love to play stateside or fucking Japan or whatever the fuck would be amazing. Logistically quite challenging. Like I think all but one of us have kids, and like quite demanding careers. I'm actually in a relatively fun, employed, spacious moment in my life, which is what's facilitating me doing quite a lot of Clever Girl stuff at the moment. But yeah, I think it's always like funny with reforming, because what I think one of the interesting things is like actually most of us, I think all of us haven't really been listening to that kind of music that
Mm.
much since that time.
Mm.
Like Luke, the drummer, is like a fucking disco DJ. He's got his day job, but he's also like a big vinyl head, plays like
Yeah.
rare groove vinyl. Like, you know, I grew up with him. We were emo kids, but like, yeah, that's just not the vibe anymore. I've been like actually massively getting back into a lot of that music and a lot of the kind of lineage, and also exploring some of the new stuff, which is really exciting. Like I'm
Mm.
like massively in love with Yvette Young, for example.
Mm.
And also just like obviously blown away by the fact that these bands like, who is it, Cusco, you know, wrote a song like saying "We miss you, clever girl" and all this stuff. Like
Yeah,
hearing
yeah, I remember
your
that.
sound in new bands, which is just like absolutely delightful. And being like interviewed for this book on Mathrock, and we're like, you know, this is like chapter that's like a lot of the chapter is this interview with us about this, yeah, this
Yeah.
particular but virality, as you put it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about if we do reforming in a way which both honors and captures what originally was Clever Girl and what people loved about it. But also, I would, if we are going to reform in any meaningful sense, to actually also bring some of the new energy and new influences um, that we've been exposed to since, um, like different, you know, different instrumentation, like even if
Mm.
we do some recording, just like being quite experimental with the sound, and you know, so for yeah, finding a halfway point, because I don't want it just to, I prefer it not to just be a tribute act to our 23-year-old selves, you know.
Mm.
So like when we reformed before, for example, we did we had some friends of ours, these twins who sing together. They supported us, but we also did a Talking Heads cover with them, and it just
Oh, that's cool.
brought a bit of that. And we also had a trumpeter, because there's trumpet on one of the songs, and so we
Mm.
got a trumpeter to have some extra brass, and just like doing stuff that's a bit fresh as well, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So yeah,
So you
if we can, recording some new music and doing some international gigs for me would be.
yeah. Do you guys still live like kind of close to each other in a way to where you guys can practice, or if it is like easy in any sense?
I'll be coming down to London, where most of them live in London or near London-ish. Yeah,
Mm.
It's feasible.
it's feasible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
live I live in Sheffield, where we now I lived in London,
Mm.
then I went back to Sheffield where we first got together. Yeah.
So a lot of people have been asking also, do you guys have any plans in repressing the vinyl? Because the vinyl kind of sold out very fast.
Yes, we do. That is in progress, and yeah, watch this space on that front.
Yeah. Well, also, so with like Clever Girl kind of being active again, or I guess like socially active again, what social medias have you guys been like active on recently? Because I saw that there was the Instagram that got formed, right?
Yeah, yeah. I set up an Instagram. I feel like a bit of a granddad with Instagram, like reels, posts. The other one, I don't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm a Facebook generation guy.
Yeah.
So, but also like there isn't. I mean, there hasn't been massive pickup on Instagram. That's probably because I don't know how to do it. But like most of our action is on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do we need to be on TikTok? Jesus Christ, absolutely terrifies me.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, TikTok's like a whole other beast. I
Yeah.
would say Instagram would be like the most like widely used platform, but also it's like it's kind of yeah, it is kind of hard to like start it up with like
Mm.
yeah, just being like people. There's an Instagram. I don't know. It's kind of hard to like
Yeah.
start up any like social media.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm sure Together Online can help us in that
I
regard.
mean, yeah, with this Reddit post, people are crazy about this. this definitely with all the bands that I've interviewed, this has been like the most reactive one so far. So this has been really cool.
Sweet.
Um, so I am going to wrap it up in a sec, but yeah, so what kind of music what have you guys been doing musically since Clever Girl?
Okay.
So I've been doing very little beyond listening to it, and to be honest,
Really?
it's yeah. No, I played saxophone at a friend's wedding sort of 7 years ago, but that was like the last time I've played it in front of an audience.
Hmm.
So very much retired, but keen to come out of retirement.
So I have been musically active fairly consistently. Um, so I one of my main streams of work is as a kind of community musician, like a kind of participatory arts musician.
Hmm.
Working particularly in recent years with gamelan. I don't know if you know gamelan, it's an Indonesian musical form with like gongs and
Yeah.
xylophone and stuff. I'm working with them in prisons in particular, which I absolutely love. Sadly, the charity that did that has folded recently, but still doing it in a church in Sheffield. We've got this beautiful Javanese gamelan set, and doing a lot of I'm an improviser really these days.
Mhm.
I love like experimental improvisation, but
Hmm.
I've been wanting to be in a committed band actually, but I've just never quite managed it. Um, since Clever Girl days. I've just been in lots of little projects that haven't really gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But
What
do music professionally, um, in more of a kind of facilitatory way. I'm like a master, I kind of a jack of all trades. I kind of piss about with different instruments, pick them up and just piss about with them, but don't really learn how to
yeah.
play them.
What with like the start of Clever Girl, what equipment was used from like the start of Clever Girl and then to I guess to now, if you were to pick it back up, what would you like to incorporate into it?
Yeah, we were pretty simple, weren't we? Like,
Mm.
um, both me and James, the other guitarist played Telecasters. Obviously, that very like lovely. I mean, Telecaster, I've kind of since realized is actually quite a classic math rock instrument. Has that a particular sound which is quite
Mm.
indicative of
Hmm.
rock. And we had a few pedals, but nothing too complicated.
Hmm.
Um,
All very clean,
yeah,
definitely.
I was waiting for Bean. I think the most complicated bit was just the random tunings that you guys used.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you used some. Did you use a reverb pedal? But you definitely had
No, no,
definitely had some on
very
the.
rare. You'd like a little bit of gigs, but not especially. No.
But
So
there is some delay on the record, isn't it?
so some of the recording. So the only thing we did was just like a lot of layering of saxophone parts,
Oh
which
yeah,
worked really
right.
well,
Okay.
like with Telebuster in particular.
Yeah,
Um, but that was just that was
yeah,
as fancy as it got.
yeah. I like so me and James had a really kind of because so typically me and James would like kind of write a lot of material together and then bring it to kind of then work on as a
Mm.
band. And we had a reunion
Mm.
recently, and it was really fun. I would definitely like to bring some kind of weird instrumentation
Mm.
into it, and like maybe some kind of, particularly when recording, some like more like electronic wizardry, experimentation.
Yeah.
Um, I'm particularly interested in like because I'm now more of an improviser, uh, creating more kind of and one of our first songs, No Drum and Bass in the Jazz Room, which didn't make it onto the record. There is this quite long, drawn out, very more like Do Make Say Think influence, kind of quite
Mm.
dubby, like groove based introduction, which is more a bit more improvisatory, a bit more like unpredictable.
Mm.
I'd like to bring more of that groove based. I'm really into like West African music, um, and like funk and stuff where there's like groove and room to improvise around it, um,
Hmm.
as opposed to just that kind of really precise compositional nature of a lot of
Yeah.
classical rock. Yeah.
Well, I that is kind of the end of my questions. So I appreciate you guys' time today. Yeah, and I look forward to whatever Clever Girl has in store in the future.
Yeah, well, thanks for getting in touch, and thanks also to all the fans who responded on Reddit and asked all your brilliant questions.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We're gonna get this reunion coming.
Just before we go, like just a quick shout out to both James, the other guitarist. He's got like I think it's a Bandcamp, yeah, with his cool like interesting solo ambient experiments. And I've just put up a Bandcamp of like loads of my old weird solo experiments from like, before Clever Girl till a few years afterwards, actually. So like, if you wanna do a Clever Girl deep dive, rare cuts.
Well, thank you for meeting up with me. It's so late in the night. It's like bright as hell out here.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, yeah.
Thanks so much.
Take care. Have a good night, you guys.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.